Friday, and welcome to the ceremony. I can't even believe the amount of people here tonight and to be able to pay tribute to such a great guy. Today, we gather here to honor someone that the mere mention of his name brings a smile to their face. That person is George Butch Byrd. We are so honored to have Butch and his family and friends here today to receive a proclamation from the Watervliet City Council, the New York State Assembly and Senate, the County of Albany. Before presenting Butch, I want to thank the unofficial Butch Byrd Committee, Bob Christensen, who is recovering from an operation and wish he was here, Mike and Ed Reinford, Charlie Diamond, and so many others that were helping get Butch receive the credit that he deserves. Their hope is that the Buffalo Bills will place Butch on the Wall of Fame. But I saw no reason not to recognize him today in the city of Watervliet with this ceremony. We will soon unveil a street sign naming part of First Avenue as Butch Byrd Way. Butch was born September 20th, 1941, and only a few hundred feet from this very spot. Before reading the proclamation, I want to thank Councilman Doss, Councilwoman Diamond, as part of our team in helping making this city focus on community and to show our pride where we live and how proud we are growing up here in Watervliet, and as proud as Butch is here today. Not everyone is lucky to play team sports, national sports, and end up in a professional program. I know only 3 others. There might be others, but Gary Holly, Tim Sherwin, who played for the Baltimore Colts, and as well as Butch. I also need to recognize Kevin Moran for his help with the media, my wife Lynn, Chris, Barb for the refreshments, Andrea and Ellen Hughes, and Becky Williams that made the covering on the sign that we'll soon unveil. Now I'd like to ask Councilwoman Barb Diamond to present a token of our appreciation to Butch's wife, Alice. Alice, over Barb. Now I'm going to ask Mike Reinford to come up and read a letter from Butch's sister Louise. She was unable to attend today, but wanted us to read this on her behalf. Mike?
But your sister Mary Louise could not be here, and she sent me an email and said, would you please read this on behalf of my brother? So she said, Butch, I am truly sorry that I cannot be with you here today. Thinking about that block has brought back so many memories that we will share. Our church, the North Reformed, then renamed Grace, right here at 15th Street and 1st Avenue. Sherlock's Tavern across 16th Street, where they had the great ham sandwiches. The gypsies that arrived every summer across from our house at 1545 First. More than the memories, though, I want to be part of the community recognition and celebration of you as a person in your own right and your own personal and professional accomplishments over the years. You have done Watervliet proud. Congratulations. I love you. Your loving sister, Mary Louise. Charlie didn't know this, but I said if I go up, I want to say one other thing. And Butch, years ago, there was an article written, I think by Kevin Moran, talking about him going to LaSalle and the decision to go to LaSalle, and seeing the whole team here brings that story back in my mind. Butch told the story that he was going to be a freshman, and he had made the decision to go to LaSalle, but most of his friends had stayed in Watervliet, and he was going out of his comfort zone. And he talked about walking over the old Congress Street Bridge. He had his new cleats that he bought at Andy's Sporting Goods in Troy, but it was the longest walk of his life because he was scared. He was going into the unknown. He was going with kids that he had never met before from Troy, all over the area, and he didn't know he could make it. He questioned himself. He got over, at the time LaSalle was in South Troy, and they were playing in a field in that area. He was coached by the great Dom Denio, which many of the Denios are here today. So he walked kind of timidly onto the field. He was kind of hiding over near the goalpost, not really ready to jump in. And Coach Denio looked over and goes, "Bird, do you think your son's is special? Get over here." And that changed his life forever. So that was my story. Exposure to Butch was as a young child. My brothers all huddled around the TV watching the old AFL actions. If the kids from the back don't realize there were two leagues, the AFL and the NFL. I think the AFL was the tougher league. But on Saturdays they would put all the great clips together and play them on TV. This was the music you heard when Butch was the nastiest hitter going. 42, come on. This song is called The Forearm Shiver, which he mastered. Joe Namath hated him. Lance Allworth couldn't stand him. He would run kickoffs back for hundreds of yards, and we would sit there loving every moment of it. Congratulations to Butch Byrd.
Thanks, Mike. Now I'm going to ask Kevin Moran, a fellow LaSalle graduate, to present a gift for LaSalle School. Kevin, can you come forward, please?
I was LaSalle Institute grad, class 82. I have the white hair to prove that. I'm excited to be here today. I have a quick story. I remember a freshman year in health class. Everybody was going to pass with a 90 average. So Pat Mulcahy was our health teacher, later to be the AD. So it was the last class of this year. Everybody was going to pass. He came out with a projector, and he brought in AFL highlights. And about halfway through, it shows Butch taking a wide receiver. Back those days, the goal post was in the middle of the end zone, taking it right into the end zone. He got hit in front and back. The guy was out cold, and everything. That's what Pat Mulcahy said. That's what Butch was known for. He played here. That's what he did to opponents. He terrorized CBA, Catholic Central, all the local schools. So today, LaSalle Institute football is here today. I want to thank Coach John Adino for accepting the invitation. It is homecoming night tomorrow night. Took the kids out of practice, brought them here, and they're playing Troy High. No pressure, Coach, but you better retain the cup. And if we can invite the LaSalle captains up, they have a gift for Butch Byrd. Also here is Butch's nephew David, played for CBA. We'll forgive him for that. He's also a standout at Syracuse University.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for coming. I can only tell you, as a football nut, growing up, I remember watching Butch Byrd as a young boy, and he was one of my idols watching pro football. On behalf of LaSalle, on behalf of LaSalle Institute, our coaches, David, who is on my staff, we'd like to honor and present Butch with number 42, LaSalle jersey from our school and our football program. Congratulations.
At this time, it's my pleasure to present the official proclamation from the City of Watervliet. And I'm going to read it. Whereas Butch Byrd was born on September 20th, 1941 in Watervliet, New York. Whereas Butch is a 1960 graduate of LaSalle Institute, Troy, New York, and in 1964 a graduate of Boston University. Butch was named to the All-Troy High School offensive team all 4 years and all-defensive team for the last 3 years. Butch was drafted by the Buffalo Bills in 1964 and played for them 7 seasons. He holds career records with 40 interceptions, 5 returned for a touchdown, 666 interception return yards. And whereas Butch was a valuable member of 2 AFL Championship Buffalo Bill teams of 1964 1965, and he was selected to 5 All-AFL teams. Butch was an exceptional punt returner and continued to rank among the Bills' all-time leaders. In 1966 AFL Championship game, he returned 74-yard punt, returned for a touchdown, and established a championship game records for punt returns. Butch played in every game as a member of the Bills during his tenure in Buffalo, starting in 101 consecutive games. Butch was then inducted into LaSalle Institute Sports Hall of Fame, the Boston University Sports Hall of Fame, Albany Capital District Hall of Fame, and the all-time Buffalo Bills Silver Anniversary Team, and selected for the Greater Buffalo Sports Hall of Fame. Whereas the City of Watervliet fully supports the inclusion of George Butch Byrd into the Buffalo Bills Wall of Fame, and respectfully asks the team owners and the Wall Hall of Fame Committee to do the same immediately. Therefore, I, Charles V. Patricelli, Mayor of the City of Watervliet, New York, do hereby recognize, commend, and honor George Edward Butch Byrd for his accomplishments. I further proclaim that September 22nd, 2022, as George Edward Butch Byrd in the City of Watervliet. And Senator Neil Breslin to present their proclamation.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And first of all, I might mention, I had a nice conversation with Butch. Back in those days, we played against each other in both basketball and football. And his elbows were just as bad in basketball. But there was no recrimination after any game. The decency shown even then. Just a wonderful guy, a wonderful athlete, and a wonderful person.
It's always difficult to follow Neil Breslin because he's either played against somebody or represented them. And lucky for you, he only played against you, he didn't have to represent you, right? Now, I'll be honest with you, there's probably about a 20-year age gap, give or take, between Butch and I, so we may not have a lot in common. However, I found out today that we do have one thing in common. You were coached by Denio, and I was coached by Denio. You had a storied career at the Bills, and I had 1 year of basketball at ECP. But anyway, put that aside. Butch, when Mayor Patricelli reached out to me and I talked to Charlie Diamond, he's another member of that ad hoc committee, they explained what our goal is. And I can tell you that both the Senator and I have been, as you might know, the state legislature was quite kind to the Buffalo Bills this year. We'd like them to return a local favor. Yeah. So hopefully that'll be sooner or better. But in the meantime, they don't all get this. A nice signed proclamation and citation from the State Assembly and New York State Legislature, recognizing your great career, but also the impact you've had on this community. And to the folks from LaSalle, thanks for being here today. Nice touch.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I only have 7 more proclamations to read. Now, the last one I have is from the Albany County Legislature, and I'm going to ask Chris to present it.
Can you guys hear me in the back?
Oh, yeah.
You might not be able to see me, but you can hear me. So on behalf of the county legislator, our county legislators Bob Besson and Sean Moore were here earlier, but they had to go down to Albany for their meeting. They left this proclamation for Butch. And I'm not going to go in it because there's a lot of whereases, but when I looked at it real quick, I noticed one thing that stuck out. And it's whereas in 1964, Butch Byrd was drafted by the Buffalo Bills, and just 12 short months later, Chris Dawes was born. So. It's in here! On behalf of the county legislature, we'd like to present it. We do have something in common. We talked earlier. We both belong to the same church, which is now a museum. But our family went to church together. So, but congratulations.
Okay, now here's the logistical nightmare. Before I turn the microphone over to Butch, we're going to go outside and unveil the sign. I know with all the people we have, it might be a little bit difficult, but please bear with us. We're going to unveil the sign and then come back in here, and then I'm going to turn the microphone over to Butch. All right, so can we all start walking outside and we go out and unveil the sign to Butch? Butch, I want to make sure Becky Williams made this for you. She was so happy and proud of doing it. I don't know if you noticed it or not, but 42 was also on the front of this. Yep. So it's all for you. You can put a pillow in it. Now, I guess it's my honor now to introduce and ask Butch to say a few words. And Butch, please take as long as you want. We have all night.
Mayor Patricelli, Recognition Committee members, relatives, and friends. Let me thank you for your efforts and participation in celebrating this wonderful moment. But first, let me wish Bob Christensen a speedy recovery. Bob is suffering from a medical ailment that has prevented him from being here today. He and others from the very beginning have worked diligently, making this evening our reality. It's difficult to find the appropriate words that adequately express my appreciation to everyone who's played a part in creating this event. But it goes without saying that my past achievements wouldn't have been possible without my many friends. Having a vested interest manifest in different ways that support and ensured by a positive future. Some of the support was formal. Teachers at School 7, the brothers and fellow cadets at LaSalle, the Watervliet Civic Center, all at different points in my life played a major role in making this day happen. Several years ago, at another gathering in Watervliet, I gave a speech that recognized individuals, both young and old, who helped prepare me for the future. The theme, paraphrasing a speech given by a prominent national politician, I believe best fits this occasion. The essence of the speech was, it takes a village to raise a child, and when I thought about it, I believed that my village was Watervliet. My reasoning, supported by my remembrance of Watervlietians and others who played a major role in influencing and guiding my future. First, and the most obvious, was my mother and father, whose sacrifices and encouragement always urged me on, sometimes forcibly, forward in a positive way. And to my family, entire family, who has always supported me, even when things didn't go as planned. Others you might have known or remembered. One was my high school football coach, Don Denio, and his family. Jack Roach, the former Civic Center administrator. Frank Bignardi, my Boy Scout adult leader. Harry Tucker and Henry Vogel, both friends and advisors. Kids I played with, Jeffrey Martin, Johnny Bergerath, Kenny Fonded, Tommy Barber, Johnny Demarest, Johnny Matthews, Timmy Wynn, all matching or exceeding my early physical prowess, thus forcing me to get better if I wanted to compete. I also must recognize other prominent individuals such as Donna Dorado, Barbara McFarland, Sherilyn Sandals, Jacqueline Mancino, and Patricia Mendel. We had several and sometimes very painful and direct conversations, always reminding me that I always could do better. They played a major role in inspiring me to reach my personal goals. I could mention many more friends and acquaintances. There are two numbers to recite, but all lifelong friends. I sometimes wonder where I would be today if I hadn't had their support and friendship. Let me conclude by saying to everyone in attendance and to those who could not attend today's affair but here in spirit, thank you very much for remembering me and for your friendship. One last comment. I received 2 days ago a letter from Jerry Mancino. I hadn't seen Jerry for 67 years.
No.
There she is. Right there. She promised to be here, and there she stands. Thank you very much. And thank you, everyone, for a wonderful day. Thank you.
everyone for coming out tonight, and a great tribute to a great guy. But before we conclude and go to the refreshments, I want everyone to join me in singing Happy Birthday to Butch, and have him cut the cake. Ready?
Hey, hold on.
Oh, sorry.
Don't light the candles.
You're good, you're good.
One more.
Okay, who wants to start? Ready? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Butch. Happy birthday to you. Thank you again, everyone, for coming. Enjoy. Stick around, please. There's refreshments in the back end again. Enjoy. Thank you, Butch.